Now, international papers are still largely focusing on tensions between Russia and the West over Crimea. Florence Villeminot is here. Let's start with a good old knock-knock joke, Florence.
That's right. This is in the International New York Times. It's a cartoon, actually, featuring Barack Obama and a knock-knock joke where you can see a knock coming on the door. Knock, knock. Who's there? Putin. Putin who? Putin my troops in Ukraine. And Obama says that's not a joke. And, well, what we assume is Vladimir Putin behind the door says 97% of Crimeans found it funny and we're charging the other 3% with humor deviation.
Okay, a lot of papers are also focusing on the sanctions tit for tat between the West and Russia.
That's right. That's what Kate was just telling us about. It's on the front page of the Wall Street Journal today. The U.S. and Russia trade volleys on sanctions. So the U.S. ordered sanctions against Russia, and then Russia ordered sanctions against the U.S. Now, the Wall Street Journal focuses on the fact that Europeans as well are also discussing the possibility of broadening sanctions against Russia, but they're grappling with a very inconvenient fact, and that's that any new sanctions could trigger a blowback for their domestic economies, because the truth is that Russia plays a very significant factor in European economies, much more than America. In fact, Europe trades 10 times as much with Russia as the U.S. does. And there's a very convenient graphic there that shows some examples. For instance, 21.1% of cars sold in Russia are German-owned brands. 29% of Italian luxury goods sold outside the EU are sold to Russia. And this is also a very interesting one. Russians account for 7% of tourists in Greece. So the stakes are very high, especially because Europe has been very hard hit by the crisis.
Okay, let's move on to Turkey now, where Twitter has been banned.
That's right. Now, you can read about it in Hurriyet, that decision to block Twitter after a speech, actually, that the Prime Minister made where he vowed to eradicate Twitter. Now, as you can imagine, this has gathered a lot of outrage, especially online and ironically on Twitter, which is outside of Twitter, of Turkey rather. Now let's take a look at some of the tweets that have been showing up. There's one tweet, for instance, that says that Erdogan has shut down Twitter airwaves in Turkey, and you can see a poster there that's inspired by Barack Obama's 2008 presidential campaign. But as you can say, instead of "yes we can," it's "yes we ban" with the Prime Minister there. Another tweet says the country banned from tweeting is also where users enjoy Twitter the most, and there's another cartoon that you can see in this tweet, if we can pull it up, where you can see two birds arriving in Istanbul and another bird representing, this is not the one, this is a cartoon, this is a cartoon representing Erdogan, looking pretty angry there as the Twitter symbol. Let's see what else comes up. I don't know if it's the cartoon or the tweet, but there's another, this is another cartoon that's appeared on Twitter representing the Twitter symbol as a Turkish flag there, and I don't know if you can see, but the beak is sewn up. So a lot of criticism of this. A lot of people are saying that there's a real crackdown on freedom just a couple of days before elections in Turkey.
And I'm sure Twitter fed very much into last year's anti-government unrest that we saw widespread across Turkey now. And on that note, you've pulled up an article in the International New York Times that focuses on the power of social media.
That's right. This is a very interesting piece by Zeynep Tufek. She's actually a Turkish-American sociology professor, and she describes what you were talking about, how social media really played an incredible role in rallying people to the streets against the government. But she says this Twitter and other social media, they provoke a cycle of political activism, but it's boom and bust. Basically, it doesn't really have an impact on policy. She says it's important to focus on what happens after the protests. Basically, activists need to figure out how to channel all that energy to have a greater impact, because she says that the point isn't just to challenge power, it's to change it.
Okay, let's cross over to Beijing, and Michelle Obama has arrived there for a week-long visit.
That's right. It's getting a lot of attention in the Chinese press, as you can imagine. In China Daily, they talk about this today. Photos of Michelle Obama arriving there in Beijing yesterday. Her trip's going to focus on education and youth empowerment. Today she's meeting with her counterpart, Peng Liyuan, and China Daily actually has a history of First Ladies' visits. You should check it out. There's some great photos, including Betty Ford taking part in a dance class in 1975. Some really great old-fashioned photos there.
All about the style. Florence Villeminot, thank you very much for that. Quick break now, but stay with us. Live from Paris continues in just a moment. Don't go away.